Hello Star Scholars, welcome back to our channel where we teach you on how to sew, how to style yourself, how to be a fashionista. So today we're going to learn how to make a perfect shoulder dart bustier. Now let's do this. In my previous video I showed you how to improvise when you are out of a pattern paper. So if you're out of a pattern paper and you have something like this A4 paper, simply join them together until you get your desired length. Okay, so in my previous, you can check my previous video for tutorial on how to do that. Now, so the tutorial is going to be on shoulder dart bustier top. Now let's go ahead and start our tutorial. So we begin this line. We will start from this line. Okay, so begin our measurement. So from this line we'll mark out 11 inches. This line here at the top here will be the shoulder, and then from the top here we'll mark out 11 inches. I will eventually use the marker to thicken the lines. Mark out this 11 inches. For the bust point, and then 14 inches for under bust, half length. In my previous video I mentioned that half length is usually between 15 to 17 inches depending on who you're taking, whose measurements you're taking. So my own is between 16 and 17, but for the kind of outfit I want to make, I will go with 17 inches here. So but if you're on the small size, 16 inches is okay for half length. So for this tutorial I'm using 17 inches. I'll go ahead and add one more inch for hemming joining allowance, like seam allowance, when you're joining the waist and the shoulder. By the time you're taking half inch from the half length to the down part of the outfit and the shoulder, then you have 1 inch. So this is like the allowance line. Okay, this is for the allowance, 1 inch after the half length. This is in a case where you're maybe you're trying to make a peplum top, a top that you're going to attach something by the waist, or a dress. Okay, when you're joining the upper body to the lower body. Okay, so this is where that's where this allowance comes in, because you will need it to join the both sides, the both bodies, and then you also need it to join the shoulder. That's where this will come. But if you're making a top without just plain top, then you go ahead and go all the way down to take your 24 inches. You mark it all the way to 24 inches to get your full top length. Then that 24 inches, depending on the inches you want anyway, your desired top length. If it's 24, you add 1 inch allowance for hemming. It's called hemming allowance. Or if it's 23, you just add 1 more inch to your desired top length. Okay, so now that we've marked out the bust point, the under bust and the half length, and the allowance line, we'll go ahead and connect the lines. We then label the lines. This is the bust point, this is the under bust, this is the half length, and this is the allowance. Okay, now after that we'll mark out our shoulder. Shoulder for me is 16 inches. If your size is smaller than mine, you can go for 15, but I use 16 for my size now. I used to use 14 even. and depending on your size and where you actually want the sleeve to start. But standard is between 14 and 15 inches. Let's go with 15 inches for this tutorial. 15 divided by 2 will give us 7.5. So by the time you fold your fabric, you're going to use 7.5. Remember that this is on fold, okay? I mean, by the time you're placing the pattern on the fabric will be on fold before you cut it. So it's going to be 7.5. You mark out the 7.5. This is 7.5 for the shoulder. From this our shoulder, now I want to get the neck depth and the neck width. Neck depth and neck width. So I'm going to take, for the neck width, 3 inches. So I'm taking 3 inches from the starting point of the fabric. 3 inches for the neck depth. This is neck width. And this is neck depth. Nipple is 8 inches, and after you folded it, it will give us 4 inches. So you mark out 4 inches here. From the bust point. Well, we're going to mark out our armhole line. Okay, the armhole, standard measurement for armhole is 9 inches. Or we can use 8 inches. For a chest line, we would use 10 inches. Sorry, I want to stick to my 9 inches. So I maintained my 9 inches for armhole and 10 inches slightly below, 10 inches or slightly below the armhole for the chest line, armhole. So we got 4 inches for bust line, okay, for bust line. We've marked it out. Then we come to under bust and take 3.5. We take 3.5 for under bust. We do the same for half length, and we'll do the same for the allowance. That's like the full length, okay? Then we go ahead and connect the lines. 3.5, right? 3.5, right? Okay, so we'll connect the lines. Then we join the under bust, the 3.5 to the 4 inches. We'll come back to the shoulder. This point from where we mark out our neck depth and neck width to the shoulder, this is 4.5. Remember I used 7.5 for my shoulder, right? That's 15 divided by 3 is 7.5. So the point from here, the shoulder length to the neck, all right, give me 4.5. So for tailors, in order to use an accurate measurement, we use our tape to do division, right, so that you can have an accurate measure. If you can't use calculator, you may not be able to understand this, measurement lines. So you can fold the measuring tape into 2, ensuring that, like this, ensuring that it points on the beginning, points on the 4.5. Then you press it like this, you press it like this, and then it opens up. It gives you this result. Okay, that's like 0.25 thereabouts. So just assume that it's 2.2. So that's the middle. So you mark out 2.2 here. Okay, after doing that, you then connect the dot line to the shoulder like this. Once you are done with that, you mark out the under bust that. So under bust, usually you use 2 inches for the breast cuff, but I want to use 2.5 because I want to be comfortable enough and I want it to really cuff. So I'll use 2.5 for my own breast cuff, but please use 2 inches so that you can have, like, you know, a standard measurement. So you mark out the 2.5 for the breast cuff, the dart point. Then you come to the half length and mark out 2 inches instead of 2.5. Mark out 2 inches here. Then you connect it to the bust point. Connect to here. Okay. From this dart line, you mark out 2.5. Mark out 2.5 inches. Then you go ahead and get your shoulder measurement again. So now remember that the 5 inches that was taken away for that, you then add it back. It will give you 7.5 plus 2.5, the actual shoulder measurement plus the 2.5 inches. So will give you 10, right? Yes, to give you 10. Should I take that again? My shoulder measurement is 7.5. Adding back the 2.5 inches that was removed from the dart to the shoulder measurement will give me 10 inches. So from there, you mark down 9 inches. Remember that we did 9 inches for the armhole. We will then join the lines together. After joining the lines together, you now find the midpoint of these 9 inches, which will give you 4.5. Then you come down a bit, add half inch to it, that will be 5 inches. Okay, so from that 5 inches, you mark out half an inch so that you can curve in your armhole for the front armhole only. So the back armhole is going to be like normal armhole marking. So this is for the front armhole. So I said to get the armhole, you divide the 9 inches into 2, get the midpoint. That will give you 4.5. Add half an inch to that 4.5 to give you 5, so that you can, you know, come down and curve it in for the front armhole. Okay, now remember to join this bust point to that shoulder that was marked out. After you've done this armhole thing, you slant in, you take in 1 inch from this armhole line and then slant it in, connect it to the neckline. Connect it to the neckline and join. Once you're done with all of this, you start marking out your body measurement. You take your waist measurement from the half length. 32 divided by 4 would give me 8. 8 plus 6, 16. 16 plus 6, 32. So 32 divided by 5 will give me 8. My bust is 40. So you take your bust point divided by 4 plus 2 inches allowance. Plus 2 inches seam allowance. Okay, you mark out your 2 inches seam allowance. Then you go ahead and connect the lines. Obviously, it's to the end of the fabric for me. Remember, this is not the real pattern paper, it's something I improvised. So, but the 1 inch allowance that is left is enough for me to sew, but you are going to use 2 inches allowance. And for the improvisation, you can simply just add more so that you can have like an accurate So now that you have connected the lines, you go ahead and start to cut. You can just mark out this part so that you won't be confused when cutting out. Please ignore these marks. Ignore this, ignore this, ignore this. This is the 2 inches seam allowance. It means for sewing, the part where you are going to sew by the sides is called seam allowance. So you are using 2 inches. You're using 2 inches. So go ahead and cut out. Try to curve in this. Try to curve in this too. Don't make the cutting straight, pointed. Try to curve in. So this is what we have. We'll now start with the cutting of the back. Cutting of the back is easy. I'm just going to use a normal dart measurement. You can also decide to take your dart all the way to the shoulder, depending on how you want it. We will now begin with the back measurement. You must make sure that your measurement is accurate to that of the back. Let me go ahead and show you how to, mark out your measurements, back measurements before cutting. So we have our bust line, we have the under bust, and then we have the half length, and then we have the allowance. Okay, so we'll mark them out. 11, 14, 17, 18. Then we join the lines. So let us remove our zip allowance, which is 2 inches, because we are taking our measurement from the zip allowance line. That's the zip allowance. So from there we take our shoulder. Remember, the shoulder I'm using is 15. You can use 16 divided by 2, that will give you 8. So about 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So you take your shoulder measurement divided by 2. Remember, we're taking the measurement from the zip line to give us 7.5. Then from there we mark out 9 inches for armhole. Slightly below that will be for the chest line. We take 10 inches. Okay. The 7.5 we use in the shoulder, we'll mark it out from here to be sure that it's accurate. So it's accurate. We will then join the lines. You join the lines. Mark out another line here. You join the lines. I don't know if you can see, or I don't carry light. Okay, now that we've joined the lines, we've marked out the line for the armhole. Then for the bust point, I will now take our measurement. Your bust divided by 4 plus 2 inches allowance. Your bust divided by 4 plus 2 inches allowance. Okay, the standard. Your half length. So with the waist is usually determined, the half length always determines the half length. So your waist divided by 4 plus the dart, 1 inch dart allowance, then 2 inches seam allowance. Your waist divided by 4 plus 1 inch dart allowance and 2 inches seam allowance. For that allowance, just measure from the shoulder down. Okay, measure out 12 from the shoulder when you're sewing the dart. Alright, so by the time we sew, we would mark out the dart when we start to sew. When we are cutting from the fabric, we'll cut out the dart. We'll just join the lines now. The bust line to the waist. Then the armhole is going to be like normal armhole. So you connect at what's going to the armhole. Then not to forget the neckline. Come back to the neckline. You can use, depending on how you want your neckline, your back neckline to be. I'll take 1.5 for neck depth, and then 3 inches. Remember, you use 3 inches for the neck width, so you have to maintain that 3 inches. Then you connect. Then, so remember to mark out the 1/2 inch and 1 inch for the slant of the shoulder, and then connect the line to the neckline from the armhole to the neckline, and that will give you your shoulder. And that's it. That's it. You now go ahead and cut. So sorry for the interruption. So that is what we have. Now, when you are cutting on your fabric, do not forget to add seam allowance. Don't forget to add seam allowance. Okay? That's what we have. Fabric. Don't forget to add 2 inches seam allowance. Only then will it align with that of the back. Alright, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, like and share. And if you wish to join our community, our online sewing class, please feel free to send a DM, a WhatsApp, link in bio, WhatsApp, Instagram, same handle as Fashion School blog. Thank you so much and bye. See you next time.